See you later, Peace party people. 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 See you later,
Peace, party people. Welcome to the podcast where we intend to make the love for hip hop great again and celebrate the power and unity of hip hop. I'm your host, Mark the Artist Self, here to bring you some of the illest tracks, the dopest interviews, and the stories that make our culture shine. And today, on this episode, I have my partner, my friend, my brother, Anthony Wardrett, my man. What's going on, brother?
Thank you for having me.
Already, man.
Appreciate it.
Look, man. We have a ton of history.
Yes.
And we ain't gonna be able to get it out on this episode, not all on this episode. So we already know you're gonna be back with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be another chapter in our friendship that we'll be able to go back and look at and enjoy, man. But why I got you here today, man, first and foremost, I want to let the people know our relationship, man. It goes back to man, I was in high school. I say I was 15 years old when I met you, brother.
Exactly.
And met you through my brother.
Yep.
And you started cutting my hair. And back then, the flat top, and you put the little designs in them and all that. So that was huge for us. And back then, and you was one of the greatest at that time, and I still believe you're one of the greatest barbers in the 757, man. So definitely appreciate that for you. And back then, you just moving through life, man. You don't know, that years later, you would have two sons, I would have two sons, and I would see the way you were handling your business as a man.
Exactly.
Would influence me to say, this is the guy that if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do it just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So first and foremost, man, I want to thank you for being that mentor to me from a distance, and then our friendship even got closer when I became a father and started working side by side with you. I went from a client to a coworker, and the friendship grew from there, man.
That's right.
I just want to I want to thank you, man. A lot of times we don't get to give our brothers their flowers early, so I want to thank you for those two things, and welcoming me into your circle. Just watching you do your thing, man, as a father, as a black man. Watching you cut hair has taught me, plenty of, techniques and whatnot, because
That's great.
like I know, I was tearing them hairs up when we first got there.
Hey, but that's all the process, though.
Yeah,
That's the process.
Yeah, man.
That's the
So
process.
enough about me and you.
Okay.
Let me let you
Okay.
go ahead and explain or give us a little background history, man, of you and where you're from, and
Yeah. Born in Newport News. And
Okay.
most of my family were there at the time. And as times change, families, kind of stretched out.
Mhm.
In the Hampton and the Newport News areas and things like that. So, you know, grandmother, my dad's mom, she was off of 29th and Oak
Okay.
Avenue,
Okay.
and a couple blocks up, my mom's parents, they were 26 and Oak.
Okay.
And then my grandmother, grandmother and grandfather from my mom's side, they moved to Hampton,
Okay.
and that's kind of where I did all of my, growing up, school, and different things like that. And went to Hampton High.
Okay.
You know,
Shout out to the Crabbers.
yeah, grabbers. Class of '87.
Okay.
Played a little football and different things like that, and created a brotherhood through that. And
Right.
we all still remain tight
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
and everything. And went on to Virginia State and majored in commercial arts,
Okay.
you know, and different things like that. And also came home and went to Thomas Nelson and took
Mhm.
a couple classes and
Mhm.
different things. And, you know, things kind of like, kind of slowed down a little bit because, you know, when you're a young man,
Mhm.
a lot of times you're trying to figure things out.
Right.
You
Right.
know, as we know with our boys, you know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
things like that, and clients that we talk to, same
Right.
thing.
Right.
Things, you know, seem to slow down a little bit for you because you're trying to figure things out, trying to
Mhm.
figure out what it is you want to do,
Mhm.
you know, what you want to be or which direction should you go. And
Mhm.
we talk about, you know, your experience and my experience and
Definitely.
things like that.
Definitely.
And, you know, so I just started working and, you know, still didn't have a destination or anything
Mhm.
like that, you know. And actually, when I went to college, I was trying to figure out a way
Right.
to say, save some money.
Okay.
Trying to figure that out. You know, I said, I know I'm not going to be getting a lot of money coming
Mhm.
in. You know, I say, so if I could just learn to cut my own hair, I can get through, you know, this college life. I can
Mhm.
wear anything, jeans,
Mhm.
sweatshirt, whatever. I could do
Mhm.
that. And I didn't know that I was actually, you know, building a like a resume,
Right.
you know, a living resume. I didn't realize I was doing that. And you know, guys would knock on the door, you know, and hey man, you think you can fix me up? Or you know, man, I'm not a barber, man.
Right.
I just do this for me. I'm just
Right.
trying to get through,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I had a partner up there, Luther Thompson, who's,
Okay.
you know, Phoebus graduate,
Mhm.
and he's, you know, we were tight, you know,
Right.
all of us, because we were from the 757.
Mhm.
And he said, "Man, I'm gonna teach you how to fade." And I
Okay.
was like, "Okay," you know.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I still, again, it was really for me.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about making no money. I
Mhm.
wasn't thinking about,
Mhm.
you know, being in anybody's barbershop. That wasn't even. I had no clue, no idea,
Right.
no, you know. And you know, I came home and that summer, and you know, I can really say that I have one guy that, or maybe, you know, say two,
Okay.
that they were letting me practice on their head then, and they still are my customers today.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and I thought about that a couple of, you know, months ago. And I was like, wow. I was like, you know, in the kitchen, in the apartment, you know, my
Mhm.
dad, mom's
Mhm.
apartment, grandmother's house, you know, cutting
Mhm.
these guys' hair and things like that. And some of them are still with me today as clients.
That's a testament to
It
loyalty.
speaks, yeah, it
Yeah.
speaks
Yeah.
volumes.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, uh, one summer I was at home and my aunt said, "Hey, you know," my aunt Angie said, "Hey, you still cutting hair, you know, at the house?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You know what? Hold on for a second." So she get on the phone. She make a phone call to Arnell's,
Okay.
which is off of Mercury
Mercury.
behind
Yeah.
Harvey's Roast Beef,
Mhm.
and she was telling me about me. So you know, he's like, "Hey, bring him on down." You know,
Mhm.
he does designs and all that. She said, "Bring him." He said, "Bring him on down." And from '88, you know, of that summer
Yeah.
to where we're talking today,
Mhm.
that's what I've been doing. I've
That's that
been, you
journey.
know, that's that journey of cutting hair. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, I never thought that, you know, I would be, you know, uh, customer service, dealing
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
people. I didn't know anything about that. I mean, you know, I was
Yeah.
petrified of, you know, messing somebody's hair up, which,
Right.
you know, I probably did a couple of
Right.
times, you know, during that time, you know, and things like that. But that's what, you know, my journey began there.
Mhm.
That's where I met you,
That's yep.
Tank, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Dre and
Mhm.
all those guys, man, and
Mhm.
you know, Chuck,
Yep.
you know, met Chuck there too, you
Mhm.
know, and things, and you know, it went from there to now. But I can honestly say back then, I didn't understand what being a black entrepreneur was.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I
Yeah.
really didn't understand what that meant.
Right.
You know, my grandfather was showing me
Mhm.
because he was a contractor and different things like that.
Mhm.
But I didn't understand the magnitude or how big that was
Mhm.
for a black man to be working for himself,
Right.
you know, being able to do his own thing.
Right.
And you know, as years went by, you know, I learned to respect the trade,
Right.
and I learned
Definitely.
to respect all trades, you know,
Yeah.
because anytime you can do something
With your hands.
with your hands or whatever the case may be, and you can make money from it, you can make as much money as you want.
Mhm.
You know, I'll tell any young man today, if you can get a trade, get it.
Mhm.
You know, because you can carry it anywhere.
Right.
You know, you can
Right.
carry it, you know, from here to a foreign country.
Mhm.
People still need haircuts.
Facts.
You know, so that's where my journey, you know,
Dope.
with barbering, that's where it started and how it ended up.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool, man. So check this out. we all know here at Peace Party people, man, that, you know, that fashion, you know, played a big part in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And you being a barber, I'm sure you've cut plenty of flat tops, high top fades. But before getting into that, let's talk about the artist that you are, brother. Because with that element of hip hop, you know, the graffiti and the drawing and things like that, you were able to master that. And not only did you do it on canvas, you did it on the back and the side of people's heads, man.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
That's
So
true.
when did you realize that what you was doing on canvas? Matter of fact, what made you decide this drawing thing, I could take it to the next level?
Well, you know, once again, you know, when you have a a God-given talent, you really don't know what it is.
Right.
You know,
Still trying to figure it out.
you don't really know what it is. You know, God has given everybody a talent. You have to figure out what it is.
Right.
And that was my talent, and I didn't know it because it came too easy. As a kid, it's like sitting down playing with Hot Wheel cars. It comes so easy. You don't realize that maybe one day you're gonna be you're gonna work on cars. You're gonna maybe do car modifications. And it started from there, and you were doing it so easily, but you didn't realize that you had that knack. And I didn't realize I had the knack. And my mother, on Saturdays, we would watch. I would watch cartoons.
Right.
My mom would probably be doing her thing, so on or whatever, and she would challenge me. And not in a way of just like, I'm gonna see if you can do this. No, it was kind of like lightning a fire. And she was like, let's draw cartoons. It's like, okay. And as a kid, 7 years old, I'm drawing these cartoons, these characters. I'm doing it fairly easy, but it just never dawned on me that you're good at it.
Right.
I didn't know that because I was a kid.
Just doing it.
It just, other kids, would get around me. Hey, Anthony, can you draw this for me? And I would do it. Still, it just hadn't dawned on me that I was good at it.
Right.
And, all during my childhood and growing up, as a teenager, I kind of flirted with it. Never took it serious. I never took it serious.
Right.
And that's because it came so easy.
Right.
And still trying to figure things out as a young man. And, I would still flirt with it here and there. And I would, kind of tell myself, hey, I can do this.
Right.
But just never really settled in on me. And I never forget, and this is how you know when something's for you. It's a passion. This is how you know. My son had a PTA meeting at school. And for some odd reason, this PTA meeting was in the art room.
Okay.
Eden Middle School. Don't even know why. Go in, I sat down. Literally, my stomach started burning.
Right.
Literally, my stomach started burning. I'm looking around. I think the teacher's voice became very mute.
Okay.
Because the room was just kind of like glowing on me. And all I kept saying to myself is, man, I can do this. I'm looking around at the art stuff. I'm looking at the, different things the kids were doing. I'm like, wow, I can do this. I can do this.
Right.
Not saying I could be a teacher. Right. But just the art.
The art, yeah.
And I knew something then. When I walked away from that PTA meeting, I knew something else was going on as well. Me being a father, being, supportive of my sons, sitting in on PTA meetings and stuff like that. There was something else going on, in me. And I walked away from there, and still, once again, I'm dragging my feet. And one day I just picked up a canvas. And that was probably like 2010, maybe 11.
Okay.
Now, mind you, when I was in the art room, the PTA meeting, that was probably like 2004.
Right.
So let's go to show you the gap.
The gap.
And when I picked up that canvas and those brushes, it didn't stop from there. And I've just, decided that this is what I should be doing.
Word.
In addition to other things, but this is what I should be doing.
Right.
So it's therapy.
Yeah.
It's therapy. I love it. I can create my own world. I can go to another place with art.
Right.
And that's what I like. That's what I love.
That artwork has taken off in different aspects for you. I know You have some artwork that people have purchased and put in Hampton out there at the Convocation Center.
Yep.
You've been asked to paint a mural out there at your school that you
Yes.
take. Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
So
completed.
uh,
Yes.
speaking of your school, again, Peace Party People is about the community too.
Mhm.
You being a barber, touching plenty and many. You also work in the school system here
Yes.
in the 757 area.
Mhm.
So enlighten me on how you handle the youth, the upcoming community. You know what I'm saying? You at a middle school.
Yes. Yes. When I first got hired, the principal, she said something to me that I didn't realize how big of an impact that was.
Mm-hmm.
And what she said was, she said, "Mr. Wardrett, you know that the community comes into the school."
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. I was trying to figure out what she meant. She said, "Whatever happens in your community, it will come into your school
Mhm.
eventually."
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more prevalent because the kids have phones,
Right.
different things,
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
And just being in the school, you get to see the change of everything,
Right.
fashion,
Right.
music,
Right.
all of that, because the kids, they're bringing it in. And with the kids today, they have more resources than what we did.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
We didn't have cell phones.
No doubt.
They have cell phones. They can do some of this, this very same thing we're doing here. They can do that themselves
Mhm.
at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
where you and I
It
can
was-
only imagine
That's right.
how
That's
to
right.
do a podcast or
That's
how
right.
to do videos
Right.
back then. But it comes so easy for them now
Mhm.
because they have so many different things.
Right.
Different schools have different programs.
Mm-hmm.
They have different programs where you can go from this school to this school if you want to um, take on that.
Right.
So
Right.
that, within itself, watching that, I'm blown away because I'm
Right.
like, wow, these kids have a lot of different resources to actually advance themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and different things like that. So what trips them out with me is, when they see me in school, they see me in school.
Right.
But when they see me out of school, it's like
Well,
they think I'm a different person.
well, that's because when we were in school, the people we saw out of school,
Yeah.
they were corny.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
people see us now or see you outside of
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
they see Ant.
That's right.
They don't see Mr.
That's right.
Woodruff and you
That's right.
in your element because you are who you are.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when they see you,
right.
they just, I ain't no Mr. Ant. He dressed like that or he
Yeah.
cool like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it bugs them out. But when
right.
we were growing up, man, if I'd have seen Mr. Boyd out in the street
right.
somewhere, I would have been like, he corny like he is in school. But holler at your boy, Mr. Boyd, if you're still around. But look, yeah, man. So now that we got, what you're about,
Mhm.
when did you fall in love with, let's just say, music right now?
Music came for me. It came for me very easy because
Mhm.
my mom is one of 6.
Okay.
3 girls, 3 boys.
All right.
She's the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the oldest grandchild.
Okay.
So I had the luxury
Mm-hmm.
of being introduced to the music at a young age.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Mhm.
Because music was just prevalent in the house.
In the household. Mhm.
Saturdays watching Soul Train.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they would bring home the albums.
Okay.
And I, would look at the album covers and just only imagine who these people were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, my mom, she didn't really go to the parties and different things like that.
Right.
My aunt, uncles, they, the rest of them, they went.
Right.
Excuse me. And when they would go out, I would say, "Hey, can I play, y'all record?"
Mhm.
They was like,
Mhm.
yeah, as long as you put it back.
Yeah.
8 tracks and different things like
Mhm.
that. And my love started then.
Okay.
It was something then that I was just, drawn into.
It just mesmerized you, sucked you right on in.
and I'm talking, from comedy to, slow jams.
Right.
I was just, talking to my wife a couple of days ago. I said, I'm at a young age listening to Richard Pryor,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But, we could handle it.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason, our parents didn't think it was too, I guess, R-rated for us or
Mhm.
X-rated for
Mhm.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't leave out the house. We didn't kind of, emulate whatever.
Yeah.
We we laughed at it and we left it there,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But when I look back on, I'm like, wow, like I was, you know, listening to Richard Pryor at a very young age,
Right.
but knew how to handle it. I'm listening to, you know, the OJs, you know,
Mhm.
Temptations.
Mhm. And see,
You know.
all that was before the wave of hip hop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all that R&B,
Yes.
that disco, that era, that funk.
Yes.
And speaking of
Yeah.
funk, I know you're a funk head.
Yes. I am.
So for those who don't know what funk head is, he's heavy in the Parliament and George Clinton and
Yes.
Bootsy Collins and those
Mhm.
brothers, man.
Mhm.
So which album was it that you fell in love with when, you know, coming, you know, with Bootsy and then George Clinton in Parliament, you know?
So, you know, I actually, you know, I told you I brought some things with
Okay.
me, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And as a kid, you know, you are, you know, you're attracted to what you're attracted to.
Mhm.
You're into what you're into.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you know, like yourself,
Yeah.
Saturday mornings you're watching cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, whatever the
Mhm.
case may be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I'm a comic book lover.
Right.
And this particular album here, Funkadelic versus Placebo Syndrome.
Come on, man. Repeat that for him one more time, man.
Funkadelic versus Placebo Syndrome
Oh, man.
is what changed it for me.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Look at that
Now-
album cover, man.
Now, you know, as a kid, I would sit and, you know, just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, look at this as a
Mhm.
kid, as I would, you know, still I do today.
Right.
As a kid, I sit there and I watch, and I'm only imagining who George is.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm doing. I'm imagining who he is.
Right.
I'm thinking that everybody he's talking about is a different person.
Right.
But to my amazement, it's him.
It's him.
He's all the different characters.
Right.
Right. And that I didn't learn until a little later on.
Mm-hmm.
But that got me going.
So who does that sound like in hip hop from the 90s?
Well, you know, I could honestly say this, you know, for me now,
Mm-hmm.
who took on kind of that theme,
Mm-hmm.
was my man who, you know, rest his soul, you know, he brought Tupac in, collab.
Shock G.
Shock G.
That's exactly where I was going.
Shock G.
With the
yeah.
Humpty. Yeah,
He did
definitely.
Humpty Dance. He
definitely.
did. And when he did that, I knew where it was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I knew where it was coming from. You know?
Certain O's and all.
Yeah, I knew where it was coming from.
Yeah.
And, you know, to go into the album,
Mm-hmm.
the album was one thing.
Right.
But then to go into the album
Mm-hmm.
and see this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this blew my mind because then this is a comic book.
Come on, man. You got something classic on your hand there, Playboy.
It's a comic book,
Yeah.
you know, of different things. You know, it tells a story
Right.
and all of that.
Right.
And I was blown away.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm like, this is something I can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can relate to it. It's what I do. I get comic books. I sketch. I draw, and I did that many times with this.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and then listening to the music, I can honestly tell you I didn't understand everything.
Yeah.
Lingo that George was
Right.
putting out
Right.
till I got older.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what started it for me.
Okay.
You know, this is exactly what
That
started it for me.
rhythm was captivating.
This is what
and
started
then the
it.
visual.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
This is what started it for me, you know, and you know, they actually, you know, they drew me in even more.
okay.
Okay, because
Okay.
I brought something else, you
Come
know.
on, man. My man bringing
Yeah.
props in the
Yeah.
piece. Talk to him, dog.
You know, the Motor Booty affair.
Motor
you know,
booty affair.
so what it was for me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, George was creating a fantasy world.
Okay.
I was already in that.
Right. Right.
I was a daydreamer.
Okay.
Still is. I was
Right.
a daydreamer as a little kid. You know, you build this. You know, when we were growing up, we had to imagine things.
You had to use your imagination.
We had to go outside and
That's
imagine.
why
things.
so many things that we did
Yes.
growing up was original.
Exactly.
And that's going to take us right down that lane in the hip hop.
That's
when
right.
you finish telling us about this motor
Uh-huh.
booty.
And so once again, they would put different things in their
Mhm.
albums.
Mm-hmm.
They would put different things in the album.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I'm like, man, it's you know, it's just
Right.
it's everything that I like as a kid. You know, it's
Mhm.
characters and different things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I said, you know, man, this is it's another fantasy world.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
and that's what he was doing the whole time was he was creating this fantasy that was drawing me in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I look back at the different albums,
Mm-hmm.
you know, through the years, you know, it was like he was just creating this thing for us,
Right.
you know,
Right.
to where we are today, to where hip hop is today.
Mm-hmm.
He did it for them too, you know, Dr. Dre and all those guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I can remember when I heard that, I was just like, man, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
So like some of the other pioneers before I beloved hip hop got going, George crawled so Dre could run.
That's right.
I like that.
That's right.
So speaking of Dre and hip hop, let's get into it, dog.
Okay.
When was the first time you fell in love with hip hop?
It was during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's grandmother's, my dad's mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
About 78,
Okay.
78, 79.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Okay.
We had a cookout.
Okay.
I was a little guy, dancing with a girl who was probably tall as this lighting. And, you know, that was the song.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and we didn't know at that time that what this was going to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 50 years later,
Yeah.
40 years later. We didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know. I didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear Sugar Hill Gang at that time, it was different,
Right.
but it was good.
It was refreshing. It was new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No per se cussing and
Right.
all of that. So
Right.
at that time, it was just a new sound,
Mm-hmm.
you know, according to what we had already been listening to at our homes when we get up in the morning, we clean up or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But this was new. It was different, but it had a R&B flavor to it too.
Right. Because they had sampled Chic.
There you go.
So definitely.
There you go.
Right.
There you
Right.
go.
So yeah. So
That's you know, my first, you know, experience with hip hop
okay.
was the Sugar Hill Gang
Okay.
at like a little cookout. You know, kids were all there and everybody was dancing.
Mhm.
You know, just
Right.
having fun.
Just having fun.
Yeah.
So take me to Hampton High School. Y'all getting ready to play a game. Y'all in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know today a lot of kids listen to you know, some hip hop artists to get them going. What was it that got you going? What song? Do you remember what song got you amped up for the game?
So, you know, I can honestly tell you, you know, then didn't really have any songs to get us going.
Right.
Because, you know, that was kind of before,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the evolution of where sports is today.
Right.
So back then, you're talking about 84, 85,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we might have been hearing some music or we had some music. but
Right.
Once we entered that locker room, it was just total quiet.
I like that.
We had to get focused.
Had to get ready.
So we didn't have the fortunate, you know, of having headphones
Mhm,
on, walking into the
mhm,
locker
mhm.
room and all of that. No,
Mm.
we didn't do that.
Focus.
We came focused. 'cause,
That's right.
You know,
Okay.
we was just trying to get focused.
So-
but you know, but if I could go back then
Mm-hmm.
and do it all over, it would be Public Enemy.
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Public
For me, I believe that like one of the greatest albums of all time. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
Yes.
So, with that being said, when's the first time you heard Public Enemy? What song was it? What did it for you?
Man, I was at Virginia State
Okay.
and we were at a social. It's called an outdoor social.
Okay.
And the song came on, you know, and it had, you know, Jesse Jackson. They was sampling him in there. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Mm-hmm.
And when my man Terminator X started scratching, everybody went crazy out
It went
there
crazy.
in the yard.
Okay.
And I was looking around like, why am I the last one to know about this? Right.
Right.
And that right there, I was like, man, the sound, it just, you know, it just drew me in. The
Yeah.
sound just drew me in. It was just like, wow. And just watching. And everybody was like, yo, Aunt, you ain't heard that yet? I'm like, man, I was like, that's powerful.
Yeah.
You know.
And the Bomb Squad, the Shockley brothers, man, they definitely man, the sound was
Yes.
it would set the tone for years to come. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And it did.
Yeah.
Nothing had been
Yeah.
heard like that before. The way they put tracks together, and then Chuck D voice was so powerful.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
strong. It was
Yes.
masculine.
It was.
And the message
Yes.
was like he said, bam, in your
right.
face. And it just, you know what I'm
That's what-
saying?
that's what-
In your face.
Yeah, it's like he drew you in.
That's right.
He drew you in. Like, come here.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to hear something.
That's right. And it was
what he did.
hey man, I can remember the first time I heard Public Enemy, and it was Yo Bum Rush the show, and it was powerful. It drew
Yeah.
me in. And
Yeah.
I hadn't heard nobody rhyme like him before, and it was straight to the point.
Yes.
Straight to the point.
It
And
was.
you know,
It was.
to have the visual with the S1Ws on
Yes.
stage, and then you got Flav, you know, the
Yes.
hype man. You know, all that stuff was brand new to us.
Yeah.
That's
It
why
was.
it could never be duplicated or, you know, pushed to the side, because, you know, when you start something, yeah, it's supposed to get better. And, you know, music has gotten better, but they've lost the edge of the concept of being original,
Gotcha.
because now it's more of a money grab. Chuck and them won't making the money they making now. So, you know, but they had to be original because, you know, that's just how you come through the door. They wanted
That's
to be
right.
better than the guys that led the way, you know.
right.
So
That's right.
that was dope, man. Who's in hip hop? Who's some of your favorite producers? And I say that because you're heavy into the funk, and as music got going, as hip hop started going, sampling was a huge part of it. So it drew us in once you heard an old school track, and then you realized that, oh, that's not that. This is something new. They just using something old.
Yes.
And Parliament in Georgia is one of the most heavy samples,
Yes.
along with James Brown.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
James
saying?
Brown. Yeah.
So
That's
who,
right.
who's one of your favorite producers, or
Well, you know, DJ Premier, I can honestly say, along with Dre.
Okay.
Okay, Dre captured me with bringing in the funk.
Okay.
You know, but DJ Premier kind of expanded me a little more
Mm-hmm.
when he brought in the jazz,
That jazz element.
Mhm. Because once again, you don't realize what something is until you hear it.
Right.
You know, and when you hear it, it does something to you,
Right.
and you say, "Wow, who are these people?"
Mm-hmm.
But they've been here with your George Clintons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've been here.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles Davis and Freddie
Right.
Hubbards and all those guys, and he introduced us to that.
Right.
You know, and so for me, Dre and Premier, you know, they are the example of digging in the crates.
Digging in the crates, Jack.
They were finding some stuff that we knew nothing about.
Right.
We may have heard it,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't know what it was.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and as time has went on, now jazz, you're hearing it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're a jazz lover, you hear it more and more sampled over in, you know, Erykah Badu and different places like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and stuff. So, you know, Premier and Dre, you know, they really stuck out with me, because I remember back in the day when, you know, I was listening to Snoop and Dre and things, and it wasn't necessarily I was, you know, into the West Coast thing.
Right.
It was because I was hearing that funk.
That funk. It drew
James
you in.
Brown,
Yeah.
stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, and Terminator X and Public Enemy, they using that James Brown and that funk.
Yeah.
That's what was drawing me in.
Right. Right.
I stayed right in that little thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dope, man.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it gets the elements of hip hop gets lost today, you know, with the youth just putting something together, throwing it out there. And
Yes.
it is, you know, it's not
Yes.
it's nothing to sit back and say, you know, you breaking the elements of the song down, and you're hearing this piece and you're hearing that piece, and you know, when you go back and you find the actual song, you know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm.
It's a gem.
That's right.
But that's a testament to us living,
yes.
you know, living
Yes.
with the experience of hearing those great songs that have been sampled throughout the years.
Oh yeah.
man.
Oh yeah.
So doing your journey, cutting hair and you know, out and about, who are some of the hip hop artists that, you know, you was just like, yo, this is it for me. You know, I could sit here and listen to the whole album front
Yeah.
to back. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
You know, as we always, you know, talk about different artists and different
Mhm.
things like that, I can honestly say today it's hard for me to to have a top 5 or a top 10.
Right.
I,
Right. It's so subjective.
I figured that out a long time ago. I can't even do that to myself. But the one, person that sticks out to me, and when I was at Virginia State, I played him a lot.
Okay.
Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
I played him a lot,
Right.
and it was just, cool guy, and it was just, just the approach. I just loved his deliverance. I loved all of that,
Right.
and different things. I, used to hear a lot of music while I was in school. Run DMC. That was boom. That was big. But it was something about Big Daddy Kane that just
Brother was
out.
smooth.
That just stood out.
He was smooth.
Yeah. When I had the 12-inch album with him on the front, with the chain on and the flat top, it just spoke. It just spoke to who he is.
Right.
Right. And long live the Kane. I mean, I was just, back then, we had cassettes.
Yeah,
So,
I found that damn cassette.
Yeah.
At a pep rally.
Yes.
somebody had left it on the bleachers, and hey, look, man, I should have left it right there, but then again,
no, you can't do that.
I skinned. I took it, and it was over from there. You know what I mean?
I bought the 12-inch record.
Yeah.
From T&M Gift World.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
T&M Gift World.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people don't know about T&M Gift World.
Yeah.
But, that was a place I could walk to, or my grandmother, if she was going to one of the little stores right there.
Right.
I could slide in there real quick, grab something, and things like that. So for me, during that time, that was big.
Right.
Because I had already been used to grabbing albums. I already been used to that.
Right.
I wasn't even a DJ. I was grabbing albums.
Getting them vinyls.
And, had a homeboy, God rest his soul, Steve O'Reilly.
Okay.
He was the DJ during our time. He was the DJ during our time.
Yeah.
And he would introduce me to a lot of different things, but, the thing is, when I was listening to, Big Daddy and all those guys, man, it was like, I knew exactly what I was doing, because I was like, this is something that I've been doing since I've been a kid.
Right.
But just didn't understand the level of what it was.
Kane get lost in the shuffle sometimes.
He does.
You know what I'm saying?
He does.
Sometimes when people speak of these top 5, top 10s, it's the middle child.
Of course.
That usually gets left in the dark. But you always remember who your number one is, and then you get the people complaining about, you got him 5 or you got him 10.
Yeah.
But the guys in the middle, they usually don't get theirs. But man, Kane was and is still one of the greatest hip hop artists of our time, and he set the bar high when he came in with Long Live the Kane, Raw, Ain't No Half Stepping. Man, and at the time, MTV and all the stuff was very prevalent. So we got to see the visual. We did. And the fashion and the links and the jewels and the clothes, so the flat tops. So all that played a part until, for me, seeing him just like, yeah, man, this dude is nice. But everybody know, if you don't know, my favorite artist, hip hop artist of all time is Rakim, the God MC. And you being my partner for so many years, I live by. We got people that come in the shop and they'll tell me, if it ain't Big Daddy Kane or the New York Knicks or Jay-Z, Mark don't like it.
That's right.
And that's not the truth, but yeah, man, Rakim is for me the greatest of all time. I love his work. And
I can't argue with that. I can't.
I appreciate it, man.
I cannot argue with that, man.
I appreciate it, man.
I cannot argue with that, man.
He changed hip hop. No matter what you think about it, that's right. We can dive into that on another show. But again, the way Ra came in was different. And with you being my partner, few years back, I'll say 2 years now.
Okay.
Because what we 25? It's 25. Yeah, it's 25.
Yes.
So I want to say 2023.
Okay.
You set me up real lovely. You called me and wanted to make sure if I was at home.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday week and all that. And I was like, yeah, I'm here. And you was like, yo, I want to stop by. Got something for you. And the crazy part about it is, I remember because I was getting my man cave fixed up,
Exactly.
and you said, bruh, if you had an opportunity to, get you something nice for your man cave, would it be the Knicks, the Steelers, or somebody from hip hop, Rakim? And I was like, yeah, I take me some Rakim, and I really had no idea what the setup was, because we're just generally talking, you know what I'm saying? And I thought we were just like we normally do. For those that don't know, this is just my opinion. The Barbershop is the first black man's podcast.
Yes.
We sit in that barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
I've been cutting that hair with you over 20 years now. We've sat in that barbershop, the other barbershop on Dresden, and we've had every type of conversation that you see people having today on podcasts.
That's right.
From relationships,
That's right,
to sports,
that's right.
to music, to jobs, to politics, the economy. We have talked about everything. And we didn't have no cameras on.
Didn't have any cameras.
So, that was just my little rant there. But so back to the my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You come to the house, you and the wife, my sister, and I'm
But
just,
you know what? I don't think I even told you I had anything for you.
You didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't. You just came in. And, normally, like you do, we sat there, we chopped it up. Then you made a move. You was going outside, and I was like,
my
all right,
cell phone. I told you, which I didn't.
Right.
I said I told my wife. I said, look, I'm gonna act like I left my cell phone in the car. I'm gonna go back and get it.
Man, and she set me up too. She put the camera on me. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's right.
So we sitting there, and you come in, and man, you unveiled the picture, man, and it was everything. Number one,
Great.
Not just because of the craftsmanship and the painting, because it's one of one.
Of course.
It's from my brother.
That's right.
And you caught me off guard. It meant a lot.
Of course.
Man. And
because you don't like to be surprised.
I don't. I don't. But man, you got me. And I ain't ashamed to say, I cried a little bit. But you know what I mean? That's just I got a little emotional. You know what I'm saying? But again, man, I want to thank you for that, man. And I proudly hang that picture up in my man cave. And but what I did today, for those who don't follow me on social media and didn't know I had this painting, I want to show you guys the painting that my brother presented to me on my birthday. So, bear with me. I'm going to get up and I'm going to unveil this picture right quick.
Okay. You need me to move something good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's it's a hell of a portrait, first and foremost, of my favorite MC with his first album, Paid in Full. And it's handcrafted, it's one of one. It is it's elite, man. It's top tier, man. It's worthy of everything that I've said it was the moment I saw it. And yeah, man, when I get called home, when I get ready for that dirt nap, you tell Miss West or one of them boys of mine, you put that picture somewhere, I'm taking it with me, But,
and that actual album right there, that cover, I can remember, I think I was probably 16, maybe 15. And we went up to Maryland, my dad's brother.
Right.
And we went to, I want to say it was Iverson Mall at the time. And I bought that cassette.
Yeah.
And I walked around the whole mall with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
That one cassette.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, man.
That one cassette, wearing some Pumas. Nothing else.
Hey, man.
And that cassette is just, I remember it just like yesterday.
It's iconic, man.
Yeah.
It's iconic. It's his first work. He did it his way. He didn't speed his flow up. He talked about what he was about, and man, that thing there, man, is iconic, man. And, It says a lot, man.
Yeah. You know,
And so,
artwork does that.
Yeah.
Me being into the art and painting.
mm-hmm.
If you can give somebody something, or you like they say, what do you buy for someone that has everything?
Right.
You give them some artwork,
Mm.
and different things like that.
Mhm.
Because that's very, like you said, one of one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's something that means something to them.
Right.
Right. And I wanted to kind of share, my gift
Mm-hmm.
with, the people that I know
Right.
that have been around the longest.
Right.
It's a lot of people that've been around me, but they've been around me in my circle the
Mhm.
longest. They're like family. So
Yeah.
I wanted to, just share something, that I have.
Right.
You're supposed to share your gifts. So that's
Right.
what I wanted to do. And, that was fun.
Yeah.
Putting that together because, I know who you are. So I was
Mhm.
like, I gotta bring something very different, unique
Right.
that nobody else has. Because it could have just been just a picture,
Mhm. Mhm.
just them. Okay,
Right.
that's one thing.
Right.
But I said I got to do something to make it a little different. That way it stands out. That's for him.
Right. And for me to have met my favorite
Yes.
MC over the last month, and got a picture with him, got video. I'm on stage with him. Man, that was one of the dopest moments in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what would be even the cream on top is if I could get the God MC on this platform right here,
Right, that's right.
sit him down, tell him, exactly what I feel about his music, and have him to sign my partner's
That's right.
artwork.
It's gonna happen.
Man, that's
You've
gonna,
already claimed it.
Yeah,
It's
you know
gonna
what I'm
happen.
saying?
You just claimed it.
Appreciate it, man. And
Just claimed it.
yeah, dog. So that was a beautiful moment, man. But check this out. Me and you, we talk hip hop all the time, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you had an opportunity to put, let's talk about collaborations.
Okay.
Collaborations, and the reason I talk about collaborations because you win Low End Theory,
Mm-hmm.
Trap Called Quest. They have one of the greatest collabs in scenario,
Yes.
and so it just struck me right then. Just hey,
Yes.
let's talk about the collabs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had an opportunity to put a collab together, let's say, give me one producer and give me 4 MCs. And it don't matter what era.
4 MCs.
Yeah,
Okay.
4 MCs. Don't matter what era.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? How would you put that together? Give me those 4 MCs and that one producer.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course I gotta put Big Daddy Kane in there.
Okay.
Okay. And a young man that he gets talked about.
Okay.
But he was very unique in his style.
Okay.
And he introduced us to Kane. And,
Okay.
I would say Bismarck.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Peace
Bismarck,
party people.
Bismarcky and Big Daddy.
Okay.
I would put them two definitely, in there.
Okay.
And like I said, I would probably had to look at Chubb Rock because
Okay.
he kind of had the same energy.
Right.
He
Right.
had that same energy, and things like that.
Mhm.
So my fourth one,
Mm-hmm.
Chuck D.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just throwing some because
No, hey, listen.
they're all great.
First and foremost, man. Let
all
me set
great.
the record straight, baby.
Okay.
At Peace Party people,
Yes.
your opinion will be respected.
Okay.
I'm not asking you for a top 10
Right or
list that
wrong.
Billboard.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
ain't
yeah.
right wrong. Dog, this your collab.
Yeah.
If you had it to put together, if you want Chuck D, Big Daddy Kane, Chubb, and Biz on the track,
Mm-hmm.
who gonna produce it? Who gonna do the track for
Well,
you?
it's got to be Premier.
Say no more.
It's got to be Premier.
Say no more.
It's got to be Premier because he's gonna give me that track
Right.
that's gonna give me a little bit of all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna give me a little bit of all of them.
Right.
He's gonna give me a little bit of Kane,
Mm-hmm.
Biz,
Mm-hmm.
Chuck D, and
I
Chubb Rock.
can see that track coming together, man. Rest in peace to Bismarck, man.
Yeah, rest
I
in
can see
peace.
Bismarck starting it off,
Yes.
talking, running his mouth, and then I can see Chubb coming in 1st
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying, setting the tone, and then you slide Big Daddy Kane in
Yeah,
there,
and then
and,
Chuck D.
you let Chuck D finish it off.
Yes.
That's the anchor. I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that, man.
Yes.
So yeah, man,
Yes.
it ain't no right or wrong, man. That's
That's
your
right.
list, brother.
Yeah, that's
you know.
that's like putting a cake together.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be dope, man. That
Mhm.
would be dope, man.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, man, I
So who would be yours?
man, for me, and I would definitely have to say, I would want DJ Premier to be the
Yeah.
producer.
I know Rakim's there. I
And
know that.
Rakim, he's definitely.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Ra.
Okay.
I love Jay-Z on that track with him.
Great.
I will put Most Def on that track with him.
Yes. Okay.
And for me, man, I guess my fourth one would probably be man. That's it's not tough, but it's just so many I don't
Yeah,
want to
it is.
leave out. But
It
man,
is. It's a lot.
I would so we go Rakim, Jay-Z, and I said Rakim, Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Premier's doing the track.
Exactly.
Who was the third one? Who was the third one I said? What did I say?
Well, you said Rakim.
Uh-huh.
You said Jay-Z.
Uh-huh.
Most Def.
Most Def. My
Mhm.
brother Most Def. Okay.
Mhm.
So man, that's tough. But if I had to do something, I'm gonna go with Nas.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Nas.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna go with Nas, man. And with that, with a Premier track, I just gave you all the gods on the mic.
There you go.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
did. Yeah, you
You
did,
know,
man.
and
You did.
I don't believe those brothers would disappoint, man. A lot of times people get caught up in these top 5, top 10 when you don't mention, someone they deem to be,
Yeah.
their GOAT or whatever. And that's, we gotta relax, man. Everybody got a different
That's right.
GOAT, a different list. Got an age,
Yeah.
where they're from,
yeah, that's right, that's right.
and how emotionally they was attached to something that artist did,
Exactly.
So, a lot of times when you give your list, and me, I give my list, there is no Tupac, there is no Biggie on my top list, top 10. And it's not a diss to them guys. They were good.
Yeah, they
They
did their
just
thing.
they didn't do it for me.
I understand.
And I'm not knocking them, but
Yeah, I
you get a
understand.
lot of people that tell me my list stink because they ain't got them guys on it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
whatever, man.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
man, this is also, let me say this.
Okay.
Being that you my brother, my partner, you knew what it was for me to be in this room today.
Yes.
And
yeah.
those conversations I had about, wanting to get this thing started, but, a little nervous about some things or whatever.
Shouldn't be.
And that's exactly what you told me. And you
Shouldn't
told me to, push forward,
That's right.
do what I said I want to do.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
for you to come by and sit down and talk with me, man, you my big brother. So this
Appreciate you,
was
man.
dope,
Yes.
man.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah.
You stopped by, you came in, you saw what we had going on,
Mhm.
and hey, bro, I'm proud of you. I appreciate that, man. And those conversations we had, though I listened.
Yes.
Been a
yes.
few times we've had conversations, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
probably didn't think I was listening, because I'll say one thing about my brother here. He gonna give you the real. He might not answer the phone if you get locked up. But we'll say that story
Yeah.
for another time. But definitely you always gonna tell me what I need to hear.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not what I want to hear, but what I need to hear.
Yeah.
And all our conversations have always been necessary.
Of course.
And I've used them, and they've helped me.
Yeah. Great.
So thank you, brother. And I say this a lot of times when I talk about you. And I tell people all the time, man, I don't know too many people. Matter of fact, I don't know anybody that dislikes Ant. And I know,
I'm pretty sure there is,
I'm pretty sure there is, but I don't know nobody
Yeah.
that dislikes Ant. And my thing is, if you don't like Ant, it must be something wrong with you. That's just me, and
Yeah. And it's all good. I mean,
Yeah.
We live in a society or a world where
Right.
you're not going to be liked by everybody.
right.
You're
Right.
just not.
Right.
What is it said of a famous comedian said, if you know when you start trying to please everybody, that's when you make your mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So I come in the door, I'm who I am.
Yep.
I'm gonna do what I can for you, be who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it is what it is.
Right.
You know it is what it is.
Let me ask you a couple questions before we
Mhm.
get going. Today's music.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the artists of today are lacking? Not to sit here and act like we're grumpy old men because of new art, but what
Yeah.
is it that you, when you hear the new songs, the new artists, what do you think they lack?
Okay. And you know, I could say as far as lacking, you know, from my ear,
Okay.
I'm only going by what my ear is listening to.
Right.
You know, sometimes I wonder, you know, the material that they're actually putting out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just wonder who were their influencers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you know, I thought about this one day, and because it's never talked about a lot, you
Mhm.
know, or never really mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who was James Brown's biggest influencer?
Right. Right.
Nobody knows really,
Right.
or they don't talk about that,
Right.
because he got his style from somebody.
Right. It
you
was
know?
a standard
It
somewhere.
was a standard that was set.
Right. Right.
So I often wonder with the new talent,
Mm-hmm.
and when we hear somebody,
Mm-hmm.
we can hear other people in them.
Yeah.
So we know
We know.
Rhapsody,
Yeah.
when she come out, I was like, whoa,
Yeah. We know.
that's powerful.
And you know why we
Yeah.
know? I don't mean to cut you off, but we
you're
know
fine.
because we lived through
Yeah,
the beginning stages
Yeah.
of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
The 80s,
That's right.
which some people might not dig,
That's right.
the ABC 1, 2, 3, but it had to get better because
That's
the
right.
standard was set.
The standard was being set.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
finish,
The standard was
brother.
being set. And you know, like when you look at the different female young ladies, like
Mhm.
MC Light,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Lauryn Hill,
Mm-hmm.
Queen Latifah, you know, Rod Digger, different.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear them, you hear something else in them, and that lets you know they've been doing their homework,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, females, wise.
Right.
And so when you hear the females of today, you know, when you hear them, you say, "Wow, okay." I don't hear anything that you know. I'm trying to pick up something that lets me know that
Right.
they've been kind of looking at some things or
Yeah.
doing some homework.
They're doing some homework, studied the craft.
They've been, you know, kind of, you know. So, but whatever works for them, you know, I can't hate on it. You
Right,
know, whatever
right.
works for them, you know,
Right.
and things and things like that. So,
And another thing too, the term hate is, you know, is big. You know, if you don't like this artist, if you don't like that group, we hating. It's not for me. It's
No, it's
not
not
hate,
that.
man.
No,
It's just
no, it's not that.
if I ain't feeling it, I ain't feeling it.
That's
I don't
true.
hate on it. I just ain't
true.
feeling it. I
That's
believe
true.
there's enough good music out here for me to, you know, to find if I deem yours
That's
not
right.
worthy
That's
of my
right.
ears.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
dig?
That's
So
right.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
y'all got to release this. The older generation hating on y'all. Ain't nobody hating on you, man. If it ain't moving me, it don't move me. So I'm moving on. You
That's
dig?
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man.
That's just the way it is. You know, that's with
Yeah.
anything. You know, that's with
Yeah.
R&B. That's
Mhm.
with jazz. If you
Mhm.
don't, certain type of jazz you may not like.
Right.
Other jazz you may. So that's just the way it is.
So here at Peace Party People, man, we're about the music, the culture, the fashion, the
Mhm.
youth development, and the community. So with that being said, brother, can you tell us where people might find you or what you got going on? Anything upcoming with your artwork or anything?
Well, you know, right now I'm actually currently working on like, you know, just different little commissions and different
Mhm.
things like that.
Mhm.
But my next, you know, adventure is going to be another art show.
Okay.
You know, as far as a location or
Mhm.
where, I don't know yet.
Okay.
You know, because you and I, we had talked once
Yeah.
before. You said, hey, this place is pretty cool, but,
Mhm.
you know, we're going to step it up.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that. But yeah, I want to do another art show.
Okay.
In the near future,
Mhm.
you know, another, you know, art show and things like that. So
Mhm.
still working in the school system,
Okay.
you know, Hampton City Schools, you know, still, you know, doing my side hustle, you know,
Right.
and cutting
Yeah.
hair and things like that. But I'm on Instagram, you
Okay.
know, World Loves Art, you know.
Okay.
Don't do a lot of posting.
Right.
You know, get ready to probably revamp the page, but
Okay.
that's pretty much where I am.
Do you have any advice for any upcoming artists, barbers in the community? Do you have any advice for a brother or a sister trying to come up in the ranks of trying to, you know.
Yeah. Being in the school system, in the middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I take notice of the kids that are doing the sketching during lunchtime.
Right.
And, to my amazement, it's a lot of little girls that are doing more of the sketching. Boys, you might have one or two here, but it's more of the young ladies. So I said I was going to, do this even more, and I'm doing it, but I'm going to probably get more into it. And what I do, I go out and I purchase drawing pads,
right,
and different things like that, and pencils, and I present it to those kids, and I just put a message in there.
Okay.
Look, keep drawing.
Right.
This can take you places.
Okay.
You can create your own world with your art.
Right.
It can take you many places. Okay. So as they say, all the kids are artists. You just have to keep them there.
Right.
And as far as being an entrepreneur, I push for more of young men and young women to find a trade.
Okay.
Where they can work for themselves. Now is the time, as you see on social media, a lot of people are very talented. Right. Very, very talented. So just be patient about that thing, and if you see something you want, go get it.
Okay. And I'm gonna say this before we get out of here.
Okay.
When I started cutting hair with you,
yes,
I was horrible. And you probably had the same advice for me that you just gave them.
Yes.
In your heart, you could tell me today, did you think I'd last? Because I was tearing people heads up, man.
That wasn't even really a question for me. It wasn't.
Right,
I mean, because I can't look at a person and, kill their dream.
Right.
I can't do it because, we have a young man that started with us, and he wasn't doing good at first. Now he has his own little Sprinter van.
Right. He's cutting.
As they say, if you'd gotten rid of Malcolm X when he was in jail, we wouldn't have never got who he ended up being.
Yeah, right.
So, you don't cut down a tree in the wintertime.
My man, I like that, champ. I appreciate you supporting me, even when a couple other people didn't. But I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, man. It was like, hey, if you going to be with me, I'm going to get you right.
That's right, my man.
Right. That's right.
So we come to a close. This conversation has been great. We always have great conversations. The doors here at Peace Party People, that chair is always open to you. I already know you will be a returning guest, so we can chop it up more about this music thing, man, and our community, man. So from the bottom of my heart, brother, I want to thank you for being in my life. Yes. And continuing to pour into me, brother. Likewise, so definitely, man, you are.
And look, while we're here, right? I always do something.
Right.
And I said, when I come up here, I gotta be ready. And I gotta, do my thing as I always do.
Okay.
And I always want to kind of set a trend. So I'm gonna be one of the first or whoever guests to bring a gift. And this here is for my man.
I like that, man.
This is for my man.
Yeah, man.
Let
me see that, man. Yeah, man. Look at my man. Come on, man.
I was told you were gonna cry, but you holding it together.
I ain't gonna cry today. I ain't gonna cry today, man. But I appreciate it again. And once again, he done pulled it off and surprised me, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a hell of a conversation with my brother in front of y'all.
Yes.
So, appreciate y'all tuning in. And I just want to thank you again, brother.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
In closing, hip hop, whatever you're doing, the community is doing. They're watching you. Continue to do it well. Peace, party people.
Peace.